Welcome to Streams of Income, hosted by best-selling author and entrepreneur Dr. David Powers, where we discuss streams of income, passive income, residual income, and even why there are dinosaurs and zombies in this intro. Fasten your seatbelts and get ready to dive in.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the next edition of the Streams of Income podcast. Hope you're happy to be here. I know I am. And you know what? I wanted to start filming these introductions, these short introductions, before the guest comes on, because I got to be honest with you. Once the guest comes on, we start talking, and I'll usually talk to him a little bit before the recording starts, and some of the juiciest stuff comes out in the pre-recorded part. I have to ask him later, hey, can you tell me what you were talking about before? I don't want to do that. So today's guest, Robert Lorenzo Lee, is a restaurant guy in Arkansas. Now, by restaurant, I mean he owns several. Some Italian places, a burger place. Now, I met Robert through the Passive Income Engines group that I manage. It's a membership group where we actually talk about and I teach on streams of income, everything from investing in cryptocurrency to real estate to fractional real estate. That's something a lot of people don't know about. But Robert's a member there at Passive Income Engines. If you want more information about that, check the show notes. I've got some information in there and a link for you. But I met him in there and he emailed me to request the playbook that I created for all the members. It guides you right through the process of creating a passive income lifestyle. And I've got it set up where they have to email me to ask for that. It's not an automatic download because I want them to get in touch with me, tell me a little bit about themselves. I'll send it to them, and it lets me meet the new members and get to know them a little bit. And I'm glad this is the exact reason I did it that way instead of doing it as an automatic easy download, because Robert sounded pretty amazing. He sounded pretty cool. And I knew right away, I emailed him back immediately with this playbook and a request. Hey man, can you get on the podcast? And so I'm looking forward to this. I hope you're looking forward to it. And here it comes. It's on the way. Yep. Yeah. So you are in Arkansas, right?
Yeah. Northwest Arkansas, Springdale, Fayetteville,
Okay.
up the roads, Walmart, all that good stuff.
Yeah. What is that? Bentonville way up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bentonville. Yeah.
I've not been there, but I've heard there's some really good mountain biking up that way.
Oh, they actually moved BMX headquarters there. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read an article one time that some of the Walmart, the Walton boys, a couple of them loved mountain biking, so they actually helped fund a lot of the trail system up there. Because
Big time. Yeah.
Why not? If you got a couple $1 million and you love mountain biking, just build some trails on your own,
Just find that loose change in the couch and go for it,
Yeah, under the Walmart shelves. Yeah. First time I met you was the emails we traded back and forth for the passive income engine stuff, and you sounded pretty interesting. And I've not had any restaurant guys on the show yet.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
Cool.
So tell us about your restaurants. I mean, go ahead and tell us where they're at. Why people from all over the world should drive to Arkansas to visit your restaurants.
Actually, it's kind of funny. My second biggest marketplace is Dallas.
Oh,
folks, yeah, because the University of Arkansas, most of them come up to attend school here. They live in the Dallas, at Metroplex, all over Texas. They get in-state rates. So yeah, my second biggest market is right behind Northwest Arkansas is Dallas. Then I'm looking at Little Rock, Tulsa, and Joplin area that comes to eats with me, which is actually pretty cool. Kind of at the crossroads up here, so it's a unique area. Very cool. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and so you've got Renzo's Pasta and Italian Steakhouse. You got two of those, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. First one is in Fayetteville, tiny little spot. I mean, was Big Seven Travel came through, named us one of the top 7 steakhouses in Arkansas. That was back in 2020. And that's, you're talking, there's perennials in this state, from steakhouse. I differentiate from an American steakhouse. Italian steakhouse, I do 4 cuts. Really high quality prime cuts, so that way the quality is there. American Steakhouse, I have 20 cuts. They use it all over the place. Of course, that's their mainstay. But being pasta, pairs well with the steak. Steak pairs well with the pasta. So it fit the bill. It's a little unique, a little different, and been paying off on a lot of different avenues. Store in Fayetteville actually turned 7 on the 2nd of this month. No,
Oh, congratulations.
yeah, the one in Springdale, December turned 3. So very fortunate,
Yeah.
as an independent to have not just one but multiple location. So.
Oh, yeah. And I know or I don't know, but I've always heard restaurants, it's not an easy business, but small businesses, they say, if you make it a year, you have this much chance of lasting longer than 3 and 5. Restaurants, like people starting restaurants, how quick do most restaurants like go under?
Oh, it varies. Depends on their financing. I did mine on a wing and a prayer. Uh, Literally, my first endeavor was back in '07. SBA loan, 425K. Oh, you can't open a restaurant for 20. Yeah, you can. You have to be very diligent on what you're doing with the money and everything. And it did extremely well. It was actually up in Bentonville. It was Spadini Italian Grill, and ran into a land covenant, which is kind of inherent in the area. Apparently, somebody has the right to say you can come, go, stay, or whatever, even if they don't own the land anymore. And it was just like, what?
Oh, I've never heard of that. That sounds like old school Mormon type stuff.
Oh, it was a nightmare. We did business properly. It was like third judge finally sided with the plaintiff, and it's like, okay, I'm just moving it. I'm tired of fighting this. Ended up moving to Fayetteville. Went from a fast casual Italian, which is a very unique concept. Went to the full serve because the area was not a lunchtime area, and started taking off pretty well. Ended up getting final nail in the coffin when they did a road widening project out in front, and it's like, yeah, I got no money left to go. So, yeah, slow, painful death.
Yeah.
Learned a lot more from that in business than I did all the years of corporates and such, successes. So when that failed, had to rebuild. That was back in 2018. Friend comes up to me and says, "Hey, we got a spot at 1214 Garland." I said, "Oh yeah, old Hog's Breath Eatery." He goes, "Yeah, you know that?" It's like, "Yeah." I said, the property owner, he knows you. He ate with you when you were Spadini." I was like, "Really?" He mentioned the name, and I couldn't put the name to the face. And I met him, and it's like, "Don, what you been up to?" He goes, "Hey," says, "I know you had a really rough run." He says, "You thinking about getting back in, owning it again?" I said, "Yeah, I'd love to." I said, "Do need a little bit of hand with it." I said, I'm restaurant rich, but cash poor, And he says, "I'm looking for long-term tenants." He's had the center.
Man.
Yeah, he's had the center since the '70s. Super great guy. Got a great relationship with him. He's just salt of the earth type person. It was more handshake than it was contract, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And you wanted something other than another vape shop or something.
Yeah, exactly. And so we've been there now 7 years, and he asked him for a 3-month abatement, and he says, "I've never done that." I said, "Well, I've got like 2 small personal loans, 56K to open this place,
Small ones.
He's like, "What?" I said, "It's doable." I said, "A lot of sweat equity, the background, really nice, from both sides of the family. Learned a lot, from that World War II generation on, how you stretch the dollar.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You do your own painting, you do your own plumbing, you do your, that type of stuff."
Yeah. You stretch that dollar until it screams.
Yeah, I think I opened the door with about $2.58 in the bank account after I bought food and trained staff.
Wow.
So, and that's been a very good, successful, little venture there. During COVID, we were very fortunate. We actually grew.
Wow.
Yeah, so many others, and that was 45 years in the industry. You look at the chain restaurants; they will open them even if it's one person in there. You're
Yeah.
open. We're not losing our market share. We're going to tick people off, but we'll give them coupons, right? No.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sitting there. It's like, okay, so I get the staff together, and it's like, guys, we got two ways to go with COVID. I said, we can take the government's money, but they're going to find us later. I said, trust the
Oh yeah.
gravy, right? And I said, or we can not go out, party, do different things. I said, still have socialization, still be active, and hopefully make a little bit of money. I was paying
Yeah.
over. I was paying overtime. We did our own deliveries. We had a couple of services running deliveries, phone off the wall, full grill line. Servers went from serving to curbside delivery. They were making bank. It's like, yeah, I'll trade you guys places. You're making a lot of, making a lot of bucks here. And we built our market share with the community that way. We went from a
Yeah.
3 mile radius to a 10 mile radius, and that's where the second location came in short. 3 years
Okay.
ago.
But that's pretty cool because I mean you didn't just serve food, but I mean the
Yeah,
community gets behind you if you're
yeah,
helping them out. I mean they wanted something
oh,
more than Taco Bell and
yeah.
McDonald's, you know?
Well, absolutely. I mean, we even had suppliers. They're like, yeah, okay, we got a lot of restaurants closed. They just shrunk. Got scared, shrunk. And I said, well, okay. I said, there's a lot of folks in the area that can't get certain things. You can get 10-pound case of beans for $40. And I said,
Yeah.
folks are asking me for it. Is it okay if I purchase and purchase from you, or whatever? And they said, yeah, sure, not a problem. It helps their volume, helps us, and I just sell it for whatever the cost was. And
Yeah.
folks are like, you're crazy. You can sell this for twice as much. It's like, no, this is a bad time. I said, we don't do that to folks. We don't gouge. You be generous. You help the community out. Community will come back and help you out later. It's delayed gratification.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we did a bit of that. Got the second location up and running. Almost to break even. Be glad when it gets over there. If we get rid of the snow in the area, I'd be happier. No, we've had the snowiest January and February in 32 years I've been here.
Oh
Uh,
man.
yeah, yeah. I came in from Little Rock late last night, and 3 hours away. Wife was actually life flighted up there with a heart issue,
Oh
and
goodness.
yeah, she's doing good. She's doing good.
Okay.
Long haul, but she is a fighter. End game, not worried about. We both know Jesus, no big deal there.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, just the promises. Hey, guess what? You still got a lot more to give and do. Let's claim the promise of hey, by His stripes we're healed. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
and,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and
Is the restaurant business that stressful?
Not she. Well, for me, yeah, probably. I don't know. I'm so used to it. It's folks are like, how you doing? Actually, the restaurants, the house, and her. And so I've been training for this all my entire life. 16, 20-hour days, stress. Pivot, things change. Oh, by the way, yeah, and I got another emergency. No big deal. Okay, let's get on with life. I'm just saying that in jest, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a pretty serious situation with her. But she's in great hands. Great progresses. God's been good. Prayer warriors all over. Even high school friends from 40 years ago. They're on.
Yeah.
They're praying, and we're seeing the divine appointments, the little things that are happening. Just a matter of time. She's going to be right back and taking care of the house and small herd of animals we got and all that good fun stuff. So that way I can just get back to slinging some spaghetti. No, no.
Yeah. So you got all that, and you've got a burger place too, right?
Yeah, right across the parking lot from the first restaurant. Friend owner, he went out. So what are you doing with the spot? I said, oh, we'll go talk to Don. I said, I'll just take it over. And we haven't had a burger spot there in about 4.5 years, and it's like about a 3 to 4 mile radius. So it should fit the bill for the community, and it's been on the grow. Worst time to open one's mid-December, but but it was, it was the way the timing worked out. Community is, starting to really get to it. Just a real simple, old-fashioned style burger spot.
Yeah, every little town needs one of those.
Yeah. I call it old guys just because I'm an old guy, No.
Now tell me this: do you guys have a milkshake machine there?
Yeah, sure do.
See, we've got a little burger place in my little town. Like we're a one stoplight town, but the burger place it's always dirty and they don't have milkshakes. I mean, I could put up with the dirty if they had milkshakes.
Oh man, no, you got to be clean in restaurants. That's one thing. I mean, you're serving public, but it's funny because I've seen so many over the years, different stratas from corporates on down to mom and pops, and you can tell who a smart operator is by a lot of small things.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, actually, it was kind of funny. We were in Vegas, gosh, about 20 years ago. We went to learn how to do real Italian gelato and sorbetto, and did that with Spadini. Don't have the space in Lorenzo's. Plus, it's the machine's probably about $100K now coming out of Italy. So,
wow.
yeah, to get it done right, got to have the right equipment. But anyway, going through there, it's like I had a milkshake at a little stand there. And I was like, okay, this is not milk. And I said, no, it's coconut milk.
Oh, that's wrong.
I thought, wow, okay. It didn't, I could taste the difference, but but most folks don't taste that difference. I'm big nose and great flavor palate, so I was kind of fortunate to become a chef, I guess. I don't know, but they and that always stuck in the back of the mind. So many folks have got dairy issues now.
Yeah,
and so I've got a hold of a shake mix that is coconut based. It doesn't taste like coconut. It tastes like a regular old milkshake. And folks that can't have dairy, they're like, "This is great. We've been looking for a spot, that can do that."
No, that's pretty cool if you can't taste the coconut, because otherwise it's like a pina colada milkshake.
Oh yeah, exactly. Which wouldn't be a bad thing, when you get special holidays. But but yeah, for the mainstay, your vanilla, your chocolate shake, your basics. One nice thick good shake, and it fits the bill. And I was just like, just something from old tool repertoire, 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. But
I was just thinking you might better order that gelato machine before Trump ends up doing a tariff on Italy or something.
Oh, it'll be about 150K then. We our first one, just back in, it sat 3 months in holding and everything. Man, it was just crazy. It was around 45K then.
Wow.
And but we actually had developed around 40 different flavors of gelato. We were making gelato martinis at the bar. The whole, it's really, very unique stuff. Great for you. I mean, a pound, 5 kilograms of natural pistachio paste coming from Italy back then was around $700.
Wow.
You didn't use a lot of it, but it you're talking natural flavors, just fabulous stuff,
Yeah.
I'd like to get back into that, but you could build some coffers up first,
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, and thinking streams of income too. I mean, most people would just think straight gelato and milkshakes. Like, I'm just going to do the basics like everybody else does. But I mean, you're thinking cocktails and lactose intolerant stuff. And I mean,
you got to look, even at the restaurant, so many folks have nut allergies. We make our own pesto fresh, very, reformulated it about 5 years ago, and basically took the pine nut out, put extra Parmigiano Reggiano into it. That's got the nutty flavor without the nut. So it's like, okay, so, nobody knows the difference. Nobody breaks out an EpiPen. I'm happy, Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah,
I mean, I love some pesto, man. I could drink that
yeah.
stuff and then eat some spaghetti with it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's great stuff. We do all sauces are in house. We make all but the blue cheese and Thousand Island dressings. We're about 85% scratch. At the
Oh,
restaurants. So things are sourced very carefully. Um, the marinara takes us minimum of 8 hours. Uh,
wow.
Folks are like, "What? You're wasting labor." It's like, nah, I'm actually not putting enough labor into it. Surprised as a child, it never died. They'd start sauce on Friday afternoon, leave it on all night long, and pull it off Sunday morning. You know, so
Man. Yeah, you're
yeah,
not wasting labor. You're doing it right.
that's the thing. That and just being in the business and knowing the composition of the product itself. Crushed tomatoes, spices, olive oil, a little onion. That's it. No added sugar, no added salt. It's already in that tomato. You got to
Yeah.
pull it. You pull it out, you actually have a heart healthy sauce. After about 6 hours, what's really cool about it is the composition changes, and you're no longer into a pomodoro or a pizza sauce with that high acidity rate. It
Yeah.
natural it naturally drops. So folks that can't tolerate a red sauce, they can actually have this one.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because I
Yeah,
always get, I mean, it won't stop me from eating it, but I always get heartburn after a red
yeah,
sauce.
yeah. It eliminates 90% of that. Just
Wow.
time, and letting the natural product do its own thing.
Yeah.
So
I mean, because
yeah.
most of my experience with Italian is Olive Garden, and
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, no, that's McDonald's.
you
Okay,
you blow that
no.
stuff out of the water just from the way you're talking, man.
Years back, I'll tell you what, they were actually very inspirational years back. If you look when they first started, they did their own in-house sauces. They did a lot of things that I'm doing at this point. And Darden is just a powerhouse in the restaurant industry. I mean, uh, yeah, they're dropping the bucket in the Darden, and they're
Yeah.
doing multi billions, right? They got away from that. The commissary stuff saves labor,
Yeah.
right? One central place makes all the sauce, flash freezes it, sends it to the restaurant. They boil and bag and say, "Yeah, we cooked it fresh." It's like, no, it's not fresh. Okay, no, sorry.
Yeah. And taste wise, it's like one step above like buying it at Costco and doing it myself.
Yeah, and that one thing I got out of change years back. I started seeing labels grow. Ingredient
Yeah.
with that labor saving device that they're doing, they're putting in more preservatives, more additives, flavor enhancers, different things. I'm sitting, I'm reading this, and it's funny because when restaurant, it was not the first industry I was looking at.
Mm.
I went to Tulsa University to be a chemical engineer.
Oh, okay. So you really know your stuff around that.
And I'm reading these labels and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is a couple of points off of this. You don't want that in your body. A
Huh.
couple of things up, and but
Yeah.
they
This is
they
used in industrial mining.
yeah, small things like that. And a lot of folks don't read labels.
Yeah.
I'm all into, hey, 60, 70 years ago, we didn't have all the health issues we had until grocery stores started extending shelf lives on products. And that's where the chems, everything that goes into them. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it. It's like, wow, okay, why are we paying more for real food, at the farmer's market than you do, going to a grocery store, and this stuff's just been processed. And
Yeah.
that's it got into that culture. A lot of folks don't realize it, but I, I had to get out of that shame aspect because it was like, I can't formaldehyde my guest,
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
and that
wanted to
stuff
keep
is
coming
in
back.
everything because I
Yeah.
started looking around my house trying to eliminate things like the seed oils and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and
Oh
it's
yeah.
in
All
everything.
yeah. Yeah. We do all olive oil. Lemon juice is my preservative, Um, especially source local meats and like the steaks and all that from local butchers, regional. produce. Right now, I have to go a little further because of the snow, but but you want to make sure that you've got mostly you know where it comes from. That way, one cow gives it up, not 1,000 cows, and then one of those cows has an issue. Oh, by the way, we got a recall. You might have listeria. That was 4 months ago. Okay, it's just now going to manifest, and you're going to bleed out tomorrow. No, no,
Yeah.
you're just like, whoa, okay, and a lot of that stuff has been done over the years on the food supply just because of cost effectiveness for profits. Nothing wrong with profits, but don't do it at the cost of people.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's why I broke out and was like, I'm going to do my own. Blessed with a great heritage, and most folks can't really comprehend that. I'm the only one with a written recipe that I know in my family.
Oh.
Everything's orally passed down in the Italian families. And it's funny, it's like, well, your last name's Lee. It's like, yeah, there's a good story with that one too. So, Dad was from Kiefer, Oklahoma. Dust Bowl, you're talking Depression era, right, and all that fun stuff. World War II breaks out. He lies about his age, joins the Coast Guard, right? Ends up fighting wolf packs between Jersey and Reykjavik, right?
Oh wow.
Yeah, saw carnage like I can't fathom what they saw, but you just sit and say thank you because those sacrifices make us free.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so he ends up staying in New York for a little while, ends up meeting my mom, and cowboy boots and all, he gets adopted into an Italian family. And this is funny because I heard these conversations. I never met my grandparents. They passed just before I was born. But everybody was like, "Oh yeah, I remember when your dad, came into the family." They're like, "Yeah." I said, "What was going on?" It's like, "Well, they took him like they did the kids." Yeah. Hey, Bob, get over here. We're gonna teach you some sauce. Okay, so they teach him. Hey, Bob, what's this? Oh, look, potato. He says, "It's a potato, Mom and Pop. It's a potato." Bob, you don't know what a potato is. We show you what a potato for. 90 Ways to Sunday, they break down a potato and they showed him how to cook. He became one of the best Italian cooks you'd ever find.
Wow. A cowboy Italian cook.
Yeah. And it was funny because, the things that happened in his life, lost his dad and four uncles in a car train wreck in southern Oklahoma in the oil fields. So, family was kind of kicked around pillar to post. He was with Mom 41 plus years, he got grounded into a family and actually found out how good a family life could be, and passed it along.
Yeah.
And being a Lee, it's kind of funny because the lineage goes back even before the country was a country. Yeah, Richard Henry Lee, Light Horse Henry Lee, all those guys, signers of the Declaration. Robert E. Lee is an offshoot, some cousin or uncle or something through there. So it got a rich heritage before the country was a country, all the way up to now. And I'm second generation on my mom's side.
Oh wow, that's an interesting family tree.
And I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, man, okay. Could you imagine 2 months in steerage on a boat to come to a new place and you don't speak the language, And that's what the grandparents did early 1900s. So I'm seeing, both ends of multi-generational to very new into the U.S. And it's just, you sit and you look and where else can you go? And the previous generations have set you up to do decent, at least well, or give you a shot,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with some of these and using some of these recipes that have been passed straight down from generations.
Yeah. In Italy, they reach out the window, and grab what's on the vine right next to them and they make dinner,
Yeah.
They eat a whole lot differently than we do in Europe than we do here. Salad is actually one of the last parts of the meal. It's not the beginning. Yeah, it actually helps with the digestion if you actually eat the salad last. You do that,
Yeah.
and people look at you like, "Hey, you're crazy," So yeah, I kind of Americanized the way we do our courses, but it's there for the option if I've had some folks come in from Europe and they're like, yeah, we like to go ahead and get the appetizer, the main, and then we'll go ahead and do the dessert. Have salad last and the coffee late. I'm like, yeah, no problem, I understand you. No big deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, so yeah, having those two different groundings, salt of the earth, middle part of the country, growing, values, and then hey, guess what, you American, you speak English. We're not teaching you Italian. Like what? What do you think? I know when I'm in trouble, you're yelling, and I know those words. They're not good ones. No. But no. You American, we can't. We gave up everything to give you better life, and that's what the sisters, the cousins, and all said. Hey, guess what? That's what the grandparents did. Happiest day of his life was when he was naturalized in the mid to late 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were trilingual. Absolutely stellar. You're sitting there, Staten Island, they're in the Italian neighborhood. The next block over was Portuguese neighborhood, very similar languages. They learned Portuguese. And then when my mom and her siblings went to school, they brought back English. So they learned English, as the third language.
Wow.
And Grandpa was actually a carpenter by trade.
Yeah.
He's still got some houses, a dozen or so houses in Staten Island that are standing over 100 years old that he built ground up.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, and he'd go down, get butcher paper, write all the stuff out, put it in Italian, have somebody translate it to English, take it down. Okay, it's approved. Go build it. That type of thing. And it took us years. About 4 years ago, my sisters and I found out where they actually came from. When they got to Ellis, broken English, they didn't know what the heck. Where are you from? Yeah, I got that, Italy. Okay, yeah, okay, right. Car, Italy does not exist. This Italy does not, no towns. It took us 20 years of ship manifests, cross-referencing Melito, Melidia, Militia, and we found south central Italy, 30 miles in from Sorrento, 30 miles in from Naples, where they departed, a mountain pass of about 10 houses. It's a neighborhood, Melidia.
Wow.
So now we know we get a chance. We're going to try to take a trip, and now we know where the roots started because
that's pretty neat.
They were there for centuries, So,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it's I've been truly blessed with 100-year-old plus recipes I grew up with. They taught us as kids.
Yeah.
You learn how to eat clean, cook clean, do everything. And then mid 70s, the parents moved, got out of New York. It was getting really crime ridden, it was getting ugly, all that good stuff.
Oh, 70s and 80s was a horrible time in New York.
Yeah, to Tulsa. So junior high and high school and college in Tulsa. And I got great grounding there, that Midwest grounding, have the multicultural grounding from over there. Yeah, I'm a mess, but whatever. No. So,
Now, are you the only one that has done anything with food as income? I mean, I'm sure everybody can cook, your siblings, and everything, but you're the only one that's done the restaurant thing?
yeah. I worked for a local chef when I was in high school. And the guy was brilliant. He actually, Tom Butcher, he had Lasting Impressions restaurant. He was from California. He developed a really nice restaurant, had it built, Lewis and 15th Street in Tulsa. It was had solar panels. He had geothermal heat. The way his setup was, daytime, you'd come in, you'd walk through the line, and it was basically precursor to like Panera and such, the fast casual.
Yeah.
You go through, make the food right in front of you. You're walking down, you get your dessert, you go, you pay, you sit down, you eat. Okay, and then you leave. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, he puts a podium there, went to full service.
That's pretty cool.
It was the server alley at that point. And I'm sitting there, a dishwasher and a busser. I'm like, well, this is a crazy industry, right? So I'm going to, it's like get out of high school, go to Tulsa University, and I'm a year and a half into the Chem E program. OPEC wipes out the oil industry. They
Ooh.
took the barrel from 55 down to 15 by glutting the markets. And I saw 400 companies go away in a heartbeat. Even where my dad worked, Lee C. Moore Corp, 110-year-old oil derrick, custom oil derrick place went away. Boom, like 90,000 engineers looking for jobs. And I'm sitting there, and at the time I was working for U.S. Beef Arby's. I was a unit manager for them. And they just asked me and said, hey, you got a pretty good grasp of business. Your shop runs well. Would you think about growing with the company? And I'm like, let me get with you. I'll see what's going on. And then that happens. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to grow with you. I'm eating, and I got guys coming that used to make six figures applying, and I'm 19 years old, they're applying at restaurants saying, hey, I'll sweep the parking lot with a toothbrush to feed my family. And it's like, you made $400K a year and you're looking for $325 an hour,
Yeah. Wow.
Just, wow, eye opener, So I ended up staying with them. They moved me here to Northwest Arkansas back in '93. I was with the company 22 plus, great company, privately held. Bob Davis, he was an original Arby's franchisor. He worked for the company when it was under the Raffle Brothers, Arby's. And when they went through a realignment in Chapter 10, 11 or something like that, opened it up to franchisees, he squirreled enough money away. He actually had the first store in Oklahoma. I started working for him. He had 50 stores. He passed away in the late 90s. They had about 250 stores in 4 states. When I left, they were expanding into 3 more states, almost 700 stores. And it's like, guys, I'm never home. You put me in a corner where I can get to 4 states, and I'm helping you out with 350 stores. Plus, I got 28 of my own. I'm tired.
Yes. Time to rest.
But great folks. They recently sold about 4 years ago. I think it was around 2.3 billion. To a bigger Arby's franchisee, and you're just sitting there. You want to talk about a success story? He was on the wrong side of the tracks, a poor kid in Tulsa, and he ended up, building the empire. That his sons took over.
Yeah, that's an American story there.
Yeah, and he was a super guy. He would meet you once, and 10 years later, he could pick up the conversation right where you left off. He was just a phenomenal people person. I learned a lot from him on that. I wish I was anywhere near like that, but he was just, and as wealthy as he was, he never flaunted anything. He was still very humble about it, Remember, we had a meeting in the Tulsa area, area directors and VPs and all that. And one of the kids that went to Spartan School of Aeronautics, and he was working at Arby's at the main, the home location, come in real dejected. And Bob went over and talked to him, and I was standing next to him and heard it. He says, hey, Joe, what's going on? You look kind of down today. He says, oh, yeah, that apartment complex that burned today? Yeah. He says, yeah, I was at school. I lost everything,
Oh.
And Bob reaches into his pocket, hands him $500, says, hey, you take the night off. Don't even worry about the rest of the week. We got you covered. What's your schedule? You getting paid? No, Bob, I don't need that. Thank you very much. No, he says it's a gift. He says, yeah, here, go get yourself a new apartment, get you some clothes, get yourself set up. When you get squared away next week, come back on in and take over your shift. So it's like, okay, that's the type of person you want to be, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, learned a lot from him in business, you know, and kind of hope it's done me decent. Uh,
Yeah. Well, it
I
seems
was
to be
gonna
working all right.
if I'm successful or not, but you know, no. It's-
Now, do any of your kids or anything work in the business?
no, no kids.
Okay.
We lost one in the womb years back. You know, unable to, you know, have a lineage, but got lots of nieces and nephews. So that's if any of them, none of them really want to do the restaurant thing, but so, but I figure I've got some really good folks that work for me. Something ever happens, you know, hey, bequeath, take, go from there. You know,
Yeah. So your
yeah,
legacy is in the customers and the employees or the
yeah,
team.
yeah. I got three generations actually eating with me right now,
Yeah.
which is really makes me feel old. No, folks that ate with me when I was Spadini, they brought their kids in.
Yeah.
Well, here, this is about, you know, 18, 20 years later. They're bringing their kids in at Lorenzo's, and I'm sitting there. It's like, oh my gosh, I remember, yeah, when you were, you know, this tall, you know, mom and dad coming in because you like the, you know, only spaghetti you eat, and you know, and I'm like, they're like, yeah, we eat more Christmas spaghetti now. The kids are doing that. It's like, so, you know, absolutely, you know, it's absolutely a very unique industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
you know, and I blow my employees' minds when I tell them, hey guys, I don't want customers, and they look at me like you're crazy. Everybody wants a customer. I said, no, I want guests. That dining room is an extension of our living room. How do you treat folks that are customers in your living room? You don't. I said, you know, you invite your friends, family, and your guests over, and you treat them that, you know, a very personable way. And I said, and that's what I want. And it changes their paradigm. You know,
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, I've been years in the industry. Nobody's ever. I said, I saw that back when I was 19. You know, I said even at a QSR, I still didn't want customers. I wanted guests. I wanted repeat folks. I wanted to get to know people's names, do a little life with them. You know, that type of
Yeah.
thing.
Oh
And I
yeah.
said, now as a independent operator, I get to do a lot of that. You know, they'll call me up. Hey, can I get a table tonight? Like, yeah, I'm not at that location. Let me find out for you. You know? So, hey, we're coming in. You know, coming in from Dallas, coming in from Tulsa. Hey, you haven't been there in a while. How you doing? Doing great. Hey, which one are you going to be at? I'll drop by, say hi. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very, very unique.
Oh yeah.
Very rewarding. Yeah, not going to become multimillionaire, you know, unless you get a lot of locations. Not. I just like a good work environment. Um, I've got my corporate handbook rules, the whole nine yards. You got to have that, but
Yeah.
it's more of family. You know, you come in. Sometimes they might not find your body, but no, I'm kidding. No, no, but you know, no, no, no. That's the whole Italian part. No, no, sorry, no. But you know, it's one of those deals. You know, you come in, don't want you to be a number, want you to be a name. You know.
Yeah. Yep. I like
So,
it. I like it. So I tell you what, as we start winding up,
yeah.
I usually like to ask everybody if you
Mhm.
had like three resources, books,
Mhm.
people,
Mhm.
anything like that, to help people be successful no matter what they're doing. What would you point people towards?
Number one's the Bible.
Okay. Yep.
Um, that's our operating manual. It's actually getting in and really understanding. Uh, I keep getting new revelations. I mean, even and we kind of met through Travis's, you know,
Yeah.
ministry there, and it's
Another
funny.
Tulsa guy.
Yeah, he's in Broken Arrow. It's like, wow, I didn't know that. You know, I've been away 30 years, but, you know, but I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, okay, he's bringing in a new perspective on some things that have been generationally taught. Because you talk about the Italian side of the family, they were all in Catholicism.
Mhm.
Uh, and when I went to Catholic school, I used to kind of get the nuns upset because I'd sit there. It's like, why do I have to go to confession? You know, and they're like, well, because we do, as we're, I said, but yeah, right here it says that I'm a king, I'm a king and a priest unto, and go direct to God. And they're like,
Yeah.
and they're like, just go to confession. It's like, okay, whatever, whatever,
That's why the Catholics didn't want you to have your own Bible.
yeah. Well, that was Dad's side. He was Baptist, so that was funny. Uh, uh, and I don't really get hung up on religion. You know, I was sprinkled holy water bath as as an infant. In Catholicism. Uh, got saved in a Baptist church. Got married in a Church of God. Got I would say sanctified in a Church of the Nazarene. It comes down to. And I've been to synagogues and other things, just because it's, you want to learn.
Yeah.
And it comes down to, do you believe God sent Jesus to die for us, go down, wipe out the kingdom of the devil, rise and give us the second covenant, and that he's
Yeah.
coming? If you believe that, everything else is easy. If you Acts 2 church, you start, you do things like that. Everything else is
Yeah.
easy.
Oh, yeah.
Second one, how to win friends and influence people.
That's a
Talking
good classic.
an old book, but so much wisdom in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had it dialed in, and it's still relevant today, even though it was written what in the 40s, 50s, something like that. So,
Yeah, that book is timeless.
yeah, and one thing that I don't know if it's really available everywhere, but it was a situational leadership seminar
Okay.
that I went to, and basically what you do is you look at your situation and you manage off of that situation because things are coming at you at different rates of speed. You've got experience, you've got inexperience on certain areas. Everybody learns a different pace. You can't throw somebody that's an expert, say, on the fryer and say, okay, head over here and start grilling steaks. And I want you at that level the minute you get over there.
Yeah.
You have to take them, okay, now they're back to the learning phase. They're going to get a little unsure. Give them the support. Watch them, let them grow. When they become an ace, an eagle, let them fly.
Oh, yeah.
get
Yeah.
get out of their way. So that one, Ken Blanchard's situational leadership.
Okay. I know who
Yeah,
that is. I've not been to one of the seminars, but I've read some of his books.
yeah. They actually dissect 12 O'Clock High, that old classic film,
Yeah.
into managerial segments, and it's like,
Oh,
wow, this is you never look at things the same. It's like, why are you doing this? It goes outside of what you're saying. It's because it's wartime, so you don't have time to really sit and debate it. Okay,
yeah.
make the decision. If not, people die. So you're just like, okay, we're not in that situation most of the time, but you do get those crunches where it's, hey, guess what? Do this, this, and this. Once you get done with it and we slow down, I'll come back and I'll explain the A, B, C, D, E, and F later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, those probably the top three right there. For me.
Okay. That's a good list. That's a very good list. Well, I tell you what, it's almost 3 o'clock where I'm at. You're Central Time Zone, so I guess it's 2. But what's the rest of your day look like? Are you getting ready to go
Oh,
in to prep supper?
yeah. I'm gonna. Well, we've got about 8 inches of snow and road no snow plows, so
Oh,
we're running by safety right now. Once it
yeah.
starts, we're about 10 degrees. Normally, yeah, we don't normally get this in Northwest Arkansas. It's like about 2 inches of dusting done, blown away by noon. Type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yep.
So this has been around for a couple of days. It'll be around for a couple more, but I'm going to go in, check them, see how they're doing, make sure they got the means and the checks that they need to get the supplies. Just finished up with state sales, city sales taxes, got to mail those off. A couple days ago, took care of the 941s for the feds, all that good stuff. Every month they come due. So,
Yeah, and they'll hunt you down if you don't send them in.
yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, no, it's being in the ownership. Things change. I don't have a full office like I did, with the corporates. Hey, can you get this taken care of for me? Sure, not a problem. Okay, yeah, it all comes to me.
Yeah.
So, my administrative level has gone up, even though I love being on a floor. Still love to get in, cook, shoulder to shoulder, go around, talk to the tables, run food, make it, not a drinker, but I've got bars, make the cocktails. Actually, took about 4 years, but developed a tiramisu martini.
Oh, wow.
It
I
tastes
thought
like
you
a
had dessert martini.
yeah, it tastes like one. It's worse than a Long Island, so be careful how many you have. So, but small things like that, you develop your craft. You
Yeah.
develop, and you constantly look what's how to be innovative, how to be unique, how to be niche. And do what you do and don't do what you don't do. Folks are like, hey, don't you have this? You have this? Oh, I can make chicken cacciatore, but guess what? It won't sell here. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
You know, so some folks might like it. Might throw it in as a special. Who knows? But
Yeah.
but as far as the main menu, no, the main menu has been developed over 15 years. It's solid. Ingredients are not overplayed. I don't have to carry an abundance of them. You get smart. We kind of keep our waste, which for restaurants is almost unheard of, less than 1%.
Yeah. Wow.
Most will run 5-7% waste.
Yeah.
And
And that's money.
I look at that, and they do that because they go to the lowest common denominator. Who's going to be as unfrugal with your money as possible? So we're going to make everybody this way.
Yeah.
And I'm into empowerment. How do you get this to where we can take this one product, use it several different ways, give it totally unique flavors, stay within the family realm of the product, and what I grew up with, and not waste it. You have a day and a half supply. Don't go 3-4 days worth of prep.
Yeah.
Does you no good to make it and throw it away. There's people starving. I'd rather give it to
Oh, yeah.
folks. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's and that's part of the engineering. Do it's like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
get it down. Get systems in place, but also understand, hey, there's wrench can be thrown at you. You need to change and adapt.
Yeah.
Make the situation the most feasible, the best way you can. So
Yeah. It works. It works, man. Robert, I
yeah.
appreciate you being with me, man. Like I say, you're the first restaurant person I've had on the show. And
Oh, yeah.
so
Yeah.
I hope people hear this and they're like, man, we got to get on there. That dude was awesome.
Yeah, and now folks want to know if they want to do a restaurant, just tell them contact me. Cut me a check
Yeah.
for 50. Cut me a check for 50K. I'll tell you not to do it, and I'll save you $1 million. Okay, no, no.
No, you're serious, man. Because if you could save them the mistakes new restaurant people make, you'd save them a gazillion.
They think it's like the TV restaurants, that they see. It's all glamour. Yeah, you're first in, you're last out. You're the head
Yeah.
janitor. It's
Yep.
it's not glamorous. There's nice times and things. Yeah, I've served the seated president of Panama before. At the restaurant. I've got a lot of dignitaries and such that are locally and regionally that eat with me. I give them their privacy. I don't care. They're people. Let them.
Yeah.
Just treat them as such. It is a very tough business. I was just fortunate to be in it as long as I am. I can go in eyes wide open and sit and say, hey, guess what? Yeah, you got a great idea, but are you willing to pay that price? It's not just money, it's time, it's effort,
Yeah.
it's burns, it's cuts, it's everything that you can think of that's ugly in it. Yeah. Something backs up. Okay, Friday night? Do you call the plumber out 700 an hour, or do you go out back and take a plunger and plunge for an hour?
Yeah. Yep.
Small, things like that just come up on the randoms.
Oh yeah.
You're just for the most part, pretty level stuff. Great folks, you develop a great clientele. You get very few idiots that come in. Get a few occasionally. Most folks are super sweet. Mutual respect. And that's how you operate. So.
Yeah.
But no, hey Ben, it was a pleasure chatting with you. Anytime you want to yell at me, give me a holler.
All right. Yeah, especially I'm gonna keep you on the list as my restaurant expert. That way, if we get anything else with questions and all that, I may get you back on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been in, several different genres of it, from burgers on up to, full service American, of course, Italians, and one of them. Been in fish, it's a lot of different areas over the years, but all one thing's common denominator.
Yeah,
it's a people business. Take care of your folks, take care of your guests. They'll take care of you. So.
Yeah, yep. And that's how you may not get rich, but you'll have a life and a business worth having.
That's it. It pays the bills, takes care of it. Got a little left over. Hey, that's you're not working under. I'm not working under a corporate structure.
Yeah.
I can zig and zag. I don't have to run it up a flagpole. So
yeah, you don't have somebody else telling you what to do.
If I make it, I make it. If I don't, I can't blame anybody else.
Yep, that's true.
It comes to me, and that's one of the things, eyes wide open, that I tell folks going into it, guys. The failure rate in the first 3 years is 70-80%.
Yeah.
Have you gone in 2 years starting as a dishwasher, working your way up to every position? If you don't know every position, how can you hold an accountability?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Where's your standard? What's going on? So yeah, it's simply complex.
Yeah.
But man, hey, have a super day. Yeah, I'll let you, wrap me up. Tell me to shut up. I can yak. That's the Italian side of the family, and I'm the quiet one. So,
Oh man.
Yeah, a big fat Greek wedding. Yeah, that was Sunday dinner, back in Staten Island. Yeah, just change out the mint and basil, So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I hope your wife gets better and gets back home soon. Maybe that snow will be gone by the time she gets home.
Oh yeah. She's probably got about another month at least. It's steady progress. She's ahead of their curves. For the similar situations that they've seen. Just a very bad valve issue, and they get that knocked out. Boom, she'll be good to go. Another 10, 15, 20 years. Even better.
Yeah. Somebody's got to keep you in line.
Oh man, I'll tell you what. It's this bachelor life. I'm not used to it. So no.
Do like I do and just watch a lot of TV until you fall asleep in the living room.
Actually, she's the one that watches TV. I'm the one that's sitting here reading. It's like, give me some quiet. No. But man, have a super day. Very nice to meet you. And anytime you help out with anything, always glad to, sit and analyze, help run things through. Hey, here's the what ifs. Add that extra 10 or 15% because something's going to hit you out of the blues.
Oh yeah. Well, you take care, man. I appreciate you being here with me.
Hey, you have a super day.
Hey, before you go, I just wanted to mention one more thing. It's in the show notes if you want the links, but I just wanted to tell you a little bit about passive income engines. So if you ever thought to yourself, hey, Dave, listen to this awesome podcast, and I've listened to all your other podcasts because I know y'all do, but this is all too DIY for me. I don't know how to do this. I want people around me where I can ask them questions, where I can get help, where I get a sense of community. Well, that's what Passive Income Engines is. It's a private membership group that I run where not only do, I heavily research and vet and personally invest in most of the opportunities that are listed there. Some of them are too specialized, but other people, I work with experts, and tons of opportunities listed within the network there. But here's the big thing. there's a weekly office hours. And one of the things with that is that I do a weekly lesson. Right now we're going through a book series, and I do a weekly lesson. We have Q&A. You can log on and ask tech questions, anything like that during the office hours. But we have an amazing private group. It's right now it's on Facebook, where we can all log in there and ask questions. I post frequent updates, all kinds of things like that. And so if you need more than DIY help with streams of income, with trying to maximize the things that you can do with the knowledge, experience, and passions you have, check out the link, Passive Income Engines. I've been in there. I was in there for quite a few years before I started running the entire thing. It's pretty amazing. I think you'll like it. And there's some pretty awesome people in there. I mean, aside from just me. And I think you'll enjoy it. So check it out.